It's showtime.
Hey guys, Django Fett here, hunting down games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more. And it's time to start reviewing a bunch of Darth Vader comics, starting with Star Wars Purge, which came out in 2013. The terror of the galaxy, Darth Vader brings death to the Jedi who survived Order 66. His legend grows as he roots out Jedi, crushing their lives, their hopes, and all memory of their kind from the civilizations that now bow to the Emperor. A band of surviving Jedi hunt Vader before he can hunt them. A lone Jedi blocks the Dark Lord's success using honor as his weapon. Vader is drawn away from an assignment by a Jedi and his Padawan, and a cunning Jedi relives Order 66 on her way to destroy the Sith Lord forever. The events in the stories takes place in the months following Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and after the events in Star Wars Omnibus Clone Wars Volume 3, and concurrent with the events in Star Wars Dark Times Volume 1, The Path to Nowhere. So for the longest time, I didn't realize there were actually multiple Purge stories. I've only known Star Wars Purge, but didn't know about the other stories until a couple years ago. So Star Wars Purge contains 4 stories in total, with Purge, Purge Seconds to Die, Purge the Hidden Blade, and Purge the Tyrant's Fist. So I'll go into each story separately, talking about the story and artwork, as well as giving my opinion for each story, and then give my rating at the end. So let's start with Purge, which came out in 2005. The story is written by John Ostrander and drawn by Douglas Wheatley. It starts with Jedi Master Su Choi meeting with Bolter Swan. Remember her and remember him? And they head to meet with a group of Jedi who are planning a move against the Empire. Darth Vader, meanwhile, interrogates a Jedi to find out the location of Obi-Wan Kenobi. He refuses to tell him anything, so he kills him. He later gets informed that Jedi are gathered with one name being used, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Su Choi meets with the rest of the Jedi, led by Shadei Podkin, who was apparently in Revenge of the Sith. Podkin was an extremely arrogant woman, believing that she and other fellow Jedi would be able to conquer Vader, despite the fact that he already killed more Jedi by himself. In addition, she was naive and self-absorbed enough to discount the fact that Vader was extremely powerful in the Force, as well as the fact that he had far superior strength, leading to her death in her prime. Now, her name is from the designers of Dressing a Galaxy, namely Usana Shadei and Noah Podkin. And she uses the name Obi-Wan Kenobi to lure Darth Vader, and an epic fight entails, and eventually Vader wins barely by the skin of his teeth. And when he returns to Coruscant, a rumor circles around that Vader tracked down a nest of 50 Jedi and destroyed them all. There are a couple things with the behind the scenes that I want to disclose. There are a number of coloring inconsistencies insofar as lightsabers are concerned. For instance, Xia Lan Wez is depicted as wielding a green lightsaber when she initially charges Vader, but the color of the blade turns from green to pink in the panel that depicts Vader slicing off her hand. Furthermore, as Vader stands poised to duel Shadei Podkin, his lightsaber is made to resemble a metallic blade instead of the trademark crimson blade. It is not until after Podkin disables Vader's saber with her Cortosis blade that he acquires a metallic blade. Now, this was one of my all-time favorite stories. As you can see, Vader just go insane and battle it out with several Jedi Masters and Knights. And I like how triggered Vader got through the one saying that the Jedi kept saying, that even if we knew, we wouldn't tell you. And it only made him angrier and stronger. There was 2 times it said it. The second time, he was just furious as hell. And he was almost about to die in the end, too. And just incredible willpower by Vader. And I think you guys know by now how I feel about Douglas Wheatley's artwork with other stories. It's incredible. Next story is Purge Seconds to Die, which came out in 2009, nearly 4 years after the first story. Don't know why they took so long. This story is written by John Ostrander once again, and drawn by Jim Hall. The story stars Sha Koon, niece of Plo Koon, who escapes the attack on the Jedi Temple and tries to do the unthinkable. She contacts the Emperor to become his apprentice and plans to kill Vader. She fails, but gets a vision of the future which gives her hope. I thought the story was okay. It's interesting about the perspective of a Jedi and showing her past and her slow downfall for redemption. The artwork by Jim Hall seemed a little amateurish to me, but grew on me as I felt the story was a bit engaging. For once, I didn't care for the artwork. The third story is Purge, The Hidden Blade, which came out in 2010. The story is written by Hayden Blackman and drawn by Chris Shelf. And in this, the natives of Otavan 13 are rebelling against the Empire, and as they're attacking Imperials, Vader appears and cuts them down. And Vader's job is to protect the factory there as it creates AT-ATs. The rebels continue attacking the Imperials and are led by Jedi, but Vader, drawn by his anger and vengeance for the Jedi, instead of protecting the factory, goes out to attack the Jedi, and as to be expected, the Jedi actually fool Vader, and Vader goes back to the factory for it only to be destroyed. And yes, the Jedi already killed, but they did their job by destroying that vital factory. The Emperor is disappointed and tells him to meditate on his failure, and Vader's just left there. I thought it was a decent story. Interesting to see the Jedi win even though they got killed. It just shows how naive and more of an angry, undisciplined child Vader was in the beginning inception, and later learning from that. The artwork is amazing in this book, done by Chris Shelf. It's a bold, almost 3D art style that looks like it's done on a computer, but it's not. It's all hand-drawn. He's done a bunch of covers for various works and did Essential Guide to Warfare, The Essential Reader's Companion, and the Django Fett, Boba Fett Blood Ties series as well, which I actually like too. And the final story is Purge, The Tyrant's Fist, which came out in 2013. The story is written by Alexander Feed and drawn by Marco Castillo and Andrea Cella. Now, instead of being a one-shot, one-comic issue, this is a two-comic issue, but still a one-shot story. In this story, Vader must hunt down a Jedi amidst a planet-wide insurgency where they revere Jedi. And after Vader fails initially, he learns to adapt by turning the planet against the Jedi and persuading the population to get on their side, and making the Jedi look like the bad guys, and does that in the end. And the Empire wins over the planet and the remaining Jedi die. The artwork, I hated it, as it's super generic, and literally I have seen this in every mainstream canon Star Wars, Marvel, DC comics, and it's nothing unique at all. I can tolerate bad or okay looking artwork as long as there is an interesting and good story, but this one is okay, so I semi-tolerated it. So in summary, Purge is the best of the lot and the rest are okay stories. So I'm giving Star Wars Purge a... You can find these stories in the Purge paperback, or you can just get the Marvel Epic Collections, The Empire Volume 1, which I've actually started collecting now since I'm missing a few stories. So I recommend getting the Marvel Epic Collection, The Empire Volume 1. I'll put a link in the description down below. So done with Purge, and we're moving on to more Darth Vader comics, with the next being Darth Vader and the Lost Command. Gotta review them all before I get into the Empire series. So please be sure to like this video, comment down below, tell me what you think of Purge if you've read it, and subscribe to my channel Django Fett if you haven't already as well. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.